Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Make sure you sub. If you haven't, make sure you engage, hit like. That actually helps. These types of things will help our channels get a little bit further up in the ratings, get recognized, and we can help a lot of people and connect. This is an unbelievable tool that we get to use and share and learn from each other if we use it correctly. And you know, quite honestly, you can see the numbers of these lamestream media disappearing. I mean, they're in trouble and they are having challenges, and they see the platforms that we are using, not my tiny little channel, 10,000 subs or whatever it is, but there's so many other people out there, and hopefully it inspires other people to do the same. But there's a lot of channels out there that are talking about subjects that need to be talked about. If we don't support them, or you don't hit like, or you don't engage, and you don't sub, sorry to say they'll fade away. And if you don't think my channel is good, make sure you do it with other channels. It doesn't have to be my channel. Make sure you sub and support the channels that are doing something, that are telling you the truth and trying to give you info that is valuable, that is not controlled by mainstream media, Hollywood, the top elite. You know how it all goes. The political stuff. Just support the channels that are trying to give you their honest opinions and information. All right, guys, listen. I believe, unfortunately, that there are a lot of maybe on the very, very edge, preppers that are going to make it dangerous for the rest of us to prepare and get ready for anything that we choose to get ready for. And here's why. There's a really great saying or a quote that says we are the average of the 5 closest people in our lives. You know, in a sense, there's like a way of figuring out what your beliefs are, what your thoughts are, what you know, politically what you believe, and how your actions and behaviors are more related to the 5 closest people in your life. That being said, it's really up to us to make sure we surround ourselves with the right people, right? We really have to make sure we are making cognizant, some way, an aware decision on a regular basis who we surround ourselves with. But in today's day and age, there's a bigger influence. Now, that may have been accurate a long time ago or in your local town because there's not a lot of reach, there's not a lot of other people that you come in contact with. Maybe those 5 people are it. You know, some people are so isolated, but here on the internet, there are people that are being contacted from each other all around the world, and we influence each other positively and negatively. And the positive part is you could be anywhere in the world, anywhere pretty much, and connect with other people that are trying to share and be like-minded. So until we lose that ability, we should use that to the best of our own ability. So we should use that as much as we can to gain from it, from learning from each other to sharing with each other and trying to, I don't know, prepare the best we can. And if you're a prepper, you're a survivalist, or even if you just like learning a little bit about that kind of information, what happens is there's the people that are on the edge that will do it, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. They'll try to pull you into their circle. We all do this to some degree. But some of them, many people, will come on the internet and they'll make comments to try to make you stray. Now, it's not that they're evil towards you. It's that they're trying to build up their own belief system, their own principles, their own thought patterns, whatever it might be. And they feel if they influence people more towards their circle subconsciously, that makes them feel stronger about their own. I believe that you should watch questioning principles, ideas that go against what you think, thoughts that maybe you would have thought were crazy years ago. Maybe now you look at it and say, well, maybe it's not as crazy. It's good to understand things. It's great to continuously throughout your life look at stuff, reevaluate it, and most of all, reevaluate your own thought patterns and what you think and what you believe. I think that's vital. That being said, you have to be careful because if you are not strong in your belief, you will fall into the patterns of somebody else's belief. Now, it's easy to understand if I give you a metaphor, but before I do that, I'll say in the prepping community, I've talked about it on this channel quite a bit. You can go anywhere in between. If you're a 1, you're extreme. If you're a 10, you're extreme. If you're living in your bunker and you never come out of it, probably you're extreme, all right? If you've never prepared anything and you live like absolutely day to day and could care less what happens tomorrow, you're also extreme. Now, you get to decide, as I've said many times, but here's the danger. The danger is the people on the outskirts, the 1s, 2s, and 3s, will try to pull in the 4s and 5s. The 10s will probably try to pull in the 9s and 8s. And the 8s might try to pull in the 9s and 10s. If you understand what I'm saying, what I mean is people always try to influence other people so that they feel better about their own decisions. Why am I saying this? Well, it's true. but also because I continuously get comments like, oh, I've been hearing SHTF forever, it still hasn't happened, I've followed for 10 years, never happens. That's because the way they're looking at it and defining it is their own problem. Stuff happens all the time, depending on where you are, where you live, your own life, depends on your definition of SHTF. If your definition is you're waiting for an asteroid to take out a massive apocalyptic thing to take out the entire world, yeah, chances are pretty good that you're going to keep waiting. And if your extreme is nothing ever happens no matter what and nothing could ever get you, no matter what happens, there's no danger no matter what, well, you're going to be wrong too. So bottom line is, in my thinking, you've got to be careful of these people because they'll try to drag you out of what you're trying to do. Many comments I get, really the last couple of days, show that these people haven't watched my videos. They make comments like, oh, well, it'll never happen. You guys have been talking about this stuff forever. Well, almost 700,000 people a year in this country alone, in the U.S. alone, die from heart attacks every single year. I would say that's an SHTF. That's what I would say. Many of them survive. But basically that tells me stuff happens. And if you're not preparing for it day to day, when it does occur, you have nobody to blame except for yourself. And there's so many other examples. And that's the thing. People don't want to look at history. They don't want to look at reality of other things that are happening. So they try to drag you down with it. And they become dangerous to you physically and emotionally. And what happens is, hey, they eat a certain way, they drink a certain way, they smoke. That's okay. That's their choice. You can do it too. I'm not going to judge you here. Not on that, that's for sure. You get to make your own personal decisions. But if you believe that that's a good choice, chances are good the people around you, most of them, also think it's acceptable. That's okay. You get to choose it. But when you start to drag other people into your circle, those other people have to protect themselves. And what I'm telling you is, on this channel, I'm reminding you that people will try to pull you into their circles, always, so they feel better about their own decisions. When it comes to prepping, survivalist, for anything related to this at all, you will be affected. Not by the people that don't care about it at all, because you don't even care what they have to say. If they think prepping is crazy and you're like, well, I don't care. I'm talking about the people that are on the outskirts, that maybe there are 3 and you're 7, they might try to pull you over. And they'll try to pull you over with reasoning and say, oh, it's not that bad. It hasn't really occurred. We haven't had that kind of plague in so many years. Now, our next plague could be a different kind, like a technological plague, because so many people have no idea. As I've mentioned time and time again, they don't even know how to grow a tomato. How are they going to survive when technology goes down? Now, 100 years ago, there were multiple plagues, and hundreds of millions of people died. And even right now, there are issues going on and diseases around the world where millions and millions of people die. And yet people say, oh, no big deal. Now, the other thing you don't want to do is get caught up in worrying about everything. Just yesterday, and this is what people will use to try to get you away from being prepared. Just yesterday, somebody was telling me about a story. In the last couple of weeks, 2 people in our area actually just randomly near their house got hit by trees that collapsed from the weight of, the decay of the trees, the weather, it rots. 2 different people got hit by trees, landed right on them, and killed them. That's kind of amazing, actually, if you think about it statistically. Now, if you use that information to say, I can't go out and the last thing I need to do is be near trees, that's extreme. That is very extreme. You should prepare for a lot of things. If you see a rotting tree, you don't stand near it. But that doesn't mean you'll never be near a situation because, well, that could never happen to me. That would never happen. There's so many examples to go over, and I've gone over some of them on this channel, and I will go over more of them in the future. But when people try to drag you away and tell you things are fine, the economy is great, the healthcare system is great, civil unrest isn't real, no big deal, the political system is perfect, things aren't really happening here. If you look around enough and you pay attention, you realize that these people are just trying to drag you down. And in my opinion, they are dangerous to you, your prepping, and possibly your way of life, but your entire family. And you've got to be careful of them. All right, guys, listen, I want to hear what you think. Make sure you sub, make sure you like if you've gotten this far, but give me what you think in the comments section. Some scenarios where people have tried to drag you down and you were strong enough to defend yourself, or things that you think we should watch out for. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the support more than you know. Go create a great day.